Woo!
So the primary exit profile has popped up several times in the headlines this past year. And now that the results are out, many are wondering if this one was properly thought through. The statistics look great, with 100% being placed in full secondary level institutions. I'm told that 94% of schools are now places of choice. But it turns out that that's just the surface level of things. The opposition spokesman on education, Deacon Ronald Thwaites, is with us now. Morning, sir.
Morning.
Welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Good
Thank you very
morning.
much. Morning.
How are you?
Oh, well, thank you.
Good to see you.
Sir, I don't know why a young man like you would want to retire at anything, sir, but I pray that you have lots of fun in your retirement,
There's
sir.
life after politics.
Well, let's just start. So you're not done with Central
No, not at all.
Kingston.
No,
All right. You are retiring as member of parliament.
when the
Is that
next
the case?
election is called.
All right. Okay.
Good luck, sir.
Good luck
Thank you.
with your retirement.
Sir, we've heard a lot about P.E.P. Let me start there. Is it better than GSAT?
Yes, it is. Much better. To simplify, GSAT depended on memorization. P.E.P depends on thinking. Thinking is much better than mostly memorization. So it's a step forward. I don't think we've taken the time to think it through, to recognize that it was a new curriculum that we introduced at the same time as we introduced a new method of assessment. And it's hard to do that. So we need to wheel and come again.
Okay. What I said at the opening, that it looks good, 100% going, 94%. So
But that doesn't have anything to do with the exam, the 100%.
Right.
We should be very grateful for that.
Right.
Many countries richer than ours don't have the opportunity of taking a young person in formal education through to grade 18. That's a tremendous, epic investment by the people of Jamaica over many generations. But then it's equality we're talking about now.
Talk to me specifically, sir, where the issues are, you think?
The issues are that our children are coming to P.E.P with inadequate preparation. Many of them are being taught in the primary schools in a language that they don't understand. Yes? We teach them in standard Jamaican English, but they speak Jamaican Creole.
I want to just pull up. Every time you say something, I want to just pull up
Sure.
for a minute and make a note.
Yeah.
They're being taught in a language they don't understand.
Yeah.
There's a critical issue.
Very
All right,
critical.
keep going, we're listening.
Secondly, they're being taught numeracy, mathematics, by teachers, many of whom, indeed most of whom, don't like mathematics and haven't been adequately trained in mathematics. The number of teachers who we have still in the system who understand both the rudiments of mathematics and the methodology for teaching it.
Hence, how did we do in mathematics at P.E.P?
Very
poorly.
inadequately.
Inadequate.
Yes.
All right.
And
Okay.
you can't build a nation competitively in the 21st century when more than half of your children at that stage don't have the basic foundations of mathematics on which the high school curriculum, the whole of science, is based. And it's our children are trying hard to do well, but we haven't given them the right start. And it's not a political issue. I take responsibility for my part in it, and we all must recognize this is a national crisis that needs to be dealt with.
What is well, we know the diagnosis now, national crisis,
Yeah.
right? We've seen the results of P.E.P. I want us to quickly go through the results. 40-something thousand young people sat the exam. They were rated, I want to go through the process. So they were rated on being highly proficient.
Highly proficient, developing, and beginning.
How many were in the top?
10% at the top, 10% at the bottom.
All right. Okay. And overall, would you say, did we underperform or perform according to the test?
No, we've underperformed.
Okay. And with the underperformance, why do you think we underperformed? One, you said that we weren't really prepared.
Yeah.
And so we know that problem.
Yeah.
Any other issues with the exam, the process?
Well, I think the process was too rushed. New curriculum, new method of assessment, virtually all at the same time. We needed to have let the curriculum settle in over a period of 3 years, because it really is different from the old one, and better. And then gradually introduced this new form of assessment, which is really different and much better over that period and even longer. We didn't do that, And so I think we're seeing the consequences.
I'm sure you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like these young people are not ready for high school. And if they're not, what do you do, sir? Don't you have to send them up?
Well, my view is that you can't promote people on the basis of age only, but you have to promote them on the basis of their achievement at the previous grade they were in. There are some things that we can do. First of all, I really think that those schools to which students with weaker PEP results have been assigned, usually the non-traditional schools, have to be given more resources now, some more money and some more human resources, in order that they can make up.
I want to ask you
students.
about that because you understand more because you sat in that position. As a nation, we the people of Jamaica want to know where the money are come from, or you get the money from one place to put in the educational system or education system. How do we find the resources, Sir Twaits? Where is it coming from?
We actually have the resources.
All right.
But we have to decide where the priority is to expend it. And while it's wonderful to have brand new roads and it's probably necessary to spend lots of more money in security, I'd like to encourage us to believe that education has to be the major area for expending any surplus funds that we have.
So how do we use the funds though? So we talk about, okay, invest more, but we have to go into what does it mean, resources? I mean, a computer room doesn't mean we're going to have better performing students. Is it that we need better teachers in high school? And with the new PEP group that are entering high school this year, what is the intervention now that we know how they performed and where their weak areas are? What can that intervention look like? And do you have an idea of what the cost could look like?
Yes. First of all, we do know where their weaknesses are. The profiles that every student has got this year are more extensive than we had in the past. Very good. That tells us, it even tells you how many questions you answered right and where your challenges are. That's progress. Teachers, parents, students, school administrators need to use that and to individualize the remedy, the challenge for each of those students. That's one. Two, I spoke about more resources for the weaker schools.
Yes.
You can't give Campion and Haile Selassie the same money because they're dealing with two different levels, although the students are going to take the same exams and we expect the same outcome. Right. Yes, that's one. That's a big change. Hope we can push that. Secondly, there's statistics that certainly in other jurisdictions, the long summer break, if not used creatively, you can have regression. Yeah. My view is that we should seriously look at summer holidays this year and every year. And for those who have challenges, offer them incentives, certainly compensate the teachers. That's the time you catch up. Yeah. In order that when you start the term, you have some better footing than the results so far indicate.
As far as I know, some of these high schools have compulsory summer school.
And
if
that's
you're
good.
Coming to
the weaker schools tend not to.
Right.
And they're the ones who need it most.
I think I'm repeating the question, sir, because I'm not certain I got the answer. So while it is excellent news, and I'm quoting you here, this is attributed to you, while it is excellent news that there's a place in high school for all grade 6 students, sending them on without the required achievement levels to be able to manage high school work is a cruel exercise in futility.
Yes, it is.
So what?
So
what do you do?
What we have to do is to prepare them. Use every day, every hour, to prepare them to try and build up the deficiencies. That's a short-term recourse. The long-term recourse is to look at their experience prior to getting to PEP, to grade 6. And we have to look at a much more focused system of early childhood education and a complete reform of primary education. Yes? Dealing with the questions of language, dealing with the questions of socialization. Many of our children are bright, but they're not socialized in their community and from their homes to benefit from the education that the rest of us are helping to provide.
Yeah.
Now that the horse is through the gate, what do we do with these youngsters now that they're in high school?
The next cohort now.
Underprepared.
Oh, the high school.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the next PEP students coming up.
Send them to people like Neville Bell and Empress Golding, who We'll be compassionate, we'll be careful,
Yeah.
and we'll encourage them, help them not to despair. When you go into grade 7, first form, all the changes in life that are taking place at age 12 and 13, and when you're short of lunch money, you may have been sent to a school you didn't want to go to, a completely different environment, and you can't understand, and you have all the books or some of the books, and you can't read them. Yes, that's a recipe for depression, for failure, and escalated downwards instead of a surge upwards. They need encouragement, they need different pedagogy, and we have to spend the time and spend the money at home, in the communities, in the church, and in the school to help them. Otherwise, it is a cruel self-delusion.
And what you've just said, it's about the community. Because I had teachers, but I had parents who taught me.
Look at that.
And made sure that I did the work. And I want to take this opportunity, and I'm sure we all agree, that parents, even if you don't know the subject matter, take time for try and help and encourage your child to learn it and find somebody who can help.
Can I tell you, 40% of our children don't do any homework. Easily 30% of our children come to school every day hungry. These are things that we have to make up with.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do the homework, and worse if you're hungry,
Yeah.
guess what? You're not going to be able to learn. And you're already at a disadvantage. Come on, let's get serious. It is a crisis.
Well, I hope you and the current acting minister
We get on
and
well.
minister say get on well, and I hope you are all in dialogue every day on how to make it better.
Thanks for coming, sir.
I hope so.
Thank you for having me. I promise.
All right.
You're on
Good.
power what time, sir?
11 o'clock till 2 o'clock, Power Talk,
Monday to Friday?
Monday to
What are you
Friday.
talking about today?
I think we're going to be talking about the problems of Brexit and the eccentricities of one Mr. Trump.
Oh,
Good luck
Neville's,
with that.
Neville's good friend.
The opposition spokesman on education, Deacon Ronnie Fates.
All right, we have an hour left. Really? Where's my salt mackerel people and some banana? Hungry! But before we clock in and all of that, let's get the news in 5.
Soon come.